The aftermath of the hotly contested party tickets in the just concluded nomination exercise in some parts of the country, some of the aspirants who failed at the primaries failed the fairness and credibility test, protesting the outcome. With political parties expected to line up at the IEBC offices to furnish the commission with their list of candidates for various elective seats in the March 4th general election, focus now turns to an evaluation of the lessons that political parties can draw from the nomination exercise and the pitfalls that IEBC must avoid on March 4th.
If there is one thing that these nominations have taught us, is how not to do an election, and that political parties' democracy still remains the weakest link in our democratic consolidation in this country.
The primaries proved to be a logistical nightmare for the main political parties. Procuring and transporting polling materials to the polling stations proved a challenge to the parties, prompting some parties like TNA and URP to extend the exercise, a challenge that IEBC must overcome as it rolls out an election that will cost the Kenyan taxpayer over 27 billion shillings.
We must change the narrative of how political parties conduct their nominations. And the freeness or fairness of a nomination is not just in the queuing, but it's in the materials that are there, it's in the register, the sanctity of the register, the sanctity of those who will participate.
To the aspirants, that it is incumbent upon them to hold their supporters in peace so that the exercise can go and proceed smoothly. Similarly, the supporters must know that their conduct I will read together with my board to the conduct of the aspirant.
But whether political parties had the capacity to hold free, fair and credible nominations is the critical question.
I believe the next parliament, the first thing they should do is to revisit the whole regime of our electoral laws to make it simple so that the Kenyan people can participate easily in electing their leaders.
Do our political parties have the capacity to manage these, their own party nominations, particularly in their stronghold? Is time there for no tribe for this country to begin to question whether we can allow the IEBC to manage party nominations, particularly in their party stronghold?
The political class through the 10th Parliament also conspired to mutilate the Elections Act of 2011 that would have enhanced sanity in the nomination process. The immediate former members of Parliament introduced an amendment to the Elections Act, limiting the period of conducting the nominations and submitting to IEBC a list of successful candidates to 45 days to the general election. By pushing the primaries to the last legally permissible day, the parties were trying to avert a fallout and a wave of defections, a lesson political parties must learn for future polls.
The political party nominations essentially and effectively sets the date and the tone for the general election. And I hope that within the next 4 to 5 weeks that we're remaining with, we can learn useful lessons and ensure that we don't repeat what happened.
Perceived interference by influential political bigwigs has also dented the credibility of the nominations. But according to analysts, the trouncing of some big names in the primaries could also mirror the likely outcome during the ultimate poll on March 4th.
And the fact that people could vote out the very moneyed candidates is also a test to the fact that increasingly the effect of money in politics is beginning to wane.
All eyes will now be on the political parties and the list of candidates that they will submit to IEBC tomorrow. Francis Gashuri, Sunday Live.